update today. Hope everybody's been having a pretty good last couple of weeks. As you might be able to hear, I think I mentioned it in my last video, but I was experiencing some pretty bad sinus. I was having some pretty bad sinus issues, and at first I thought it was like some kind of flu or something, but I actually narrowed it down because it had been going on for 3 or 4 weeks, and I finally realized that it must be allergies. And sure enough, I took some allergy medicine and it pretty much completely got rid of it, which is so nice. But it does make you realize, I guess allergies can happen at really strange times of the year, because I don't think I've ever had allergies in January, but it must just be maybe it's like the weather kind of going back and forth between warm and cold lately. I'm not sure, but anyway, doing a lot better from that. I have been doing a lot better, I would say, in general the past few days. I've been doing my check-ins with my accountability partners, staying busy with working out, and I've been pretty much doing everything that I need to be doing in terms of recovery. I've been journaling as well. I need to actually still journal for today, but it's been kind of a busy past few days because I've had a bunch of meetings and things like that, so I haven't had a ton of time to update on here. But I did just want to let you guys know things are going pretty well right now. I was in a little bit of like a tough kind of like spot financially like a couple weeks ago, but I'm kind of getting my way out of that now. So life has been honestly pretty good for the most part. But you know, one thing that has become apparent to me is that I think there are maybe a select few people where maybe this could be not the case, but from everyone that I've talked to and from my own past experiences, I will say that I don't truly know if I believe that it's possible to completely overcome this on your own. So if you're kind of new to this and you're not really like talking to accountability partners, or you don't have like a community of people, I think at this point, after 10 years of trying to beat this thing, I'm a pretty firm believer that it's almost impossible to beat something like this. And I don't even know if you actually ever truly beat it. I mean, in some ways, yes, but it's always going to be a part of you, and you know, you might have to work harder sometimes versus other times, but yeah, so that's become really apparent to me that it is imperative to have a good community, and the check-ins are super important for me with my accountability partners and on here. And actually, like, this is where sometimes I was going wrong before, was I would only check in like after. Actually, there's 2 things that I was really doing wrong before that I have since realized that I need to change. And one of those is I was usually only checking in when I was either in a really rough spot, like felt like it could happen, or 2, I would check in when it had already happened. And I would kind of repeat this cycle, and it took me a long time to realize this, but whenever I actually was doing well, I would not check in very much. And that's where the danger lies, because sometimes you can think for a moment that, oh, I'm doing well, like maybe I don't really need to check in right now, or you know, maybe I'm just having a week where I can just kind of do this on my own. And that was a huge mistake for me looking back, because pretty much much most of my slip-ups happened during those times where I was too overconfident, and I realized that you can never get too confident with this stuff. Like, you always have to be humble and realize that it's something that's not, you just can't do it on your own. But another thing I realized was, one of my accountability partners asked me recently if, why I never called people when I thought it was about to happen. And it was really, it's like one of those things where maybe I had asked myself the question a few times, but I hadn't really been totally honest with myself about it. Because really, yeah, there were hundreds of times where I could have just called someone rather than let it escalate to that point. And I really had to kind of dig deep inside of myself to I guess, understand why. And what I kind of realized was that there was some part of me that was afraid of seeming weak, and I was afraid of like making people see me differently, as in like I didn't want to be a needy person. I didn't want people to feel like I needed them, when they were busy with their own life stuff. And that is a really unhealthy coping mechanism, because if you just keep saying to yourself, oh, like, I don't want to like be a burden, or I don't want to, put anyone else in, or like add stress to their lives, then when it comes down to it, you're never going to ask for help, because you're always going to feel like you need to deal with it on your own. And you see the problem here, though. I said earlier, there's no way to deal with it on your own, but then I was also trying to deal with it on my own. So it's like it was these two things that were fighting against each other. It was like one side of my mind was like afraid to look weak and afraid to, not be in control of my life, basically. But then there was another part of me that was obviously not in control of my life completely and needed help. So that's been a really big kind of revelation for me recently. And I think this is where it all changes, guys. I think this is the thing that maybe I've been trying to get to the bottom of for many, many years, because I was always trying to deal with it on my own before. And I've started to realize that maybe I don't have to, and maybe it might even make my life better not to. So I guess that's my biggest piece of advice today. And if you guys are in a similar position where maybe some of you are like, oh, I want to get help, but like it's just hard to actually call people, or like I don't want to make them feel weird about me, or whatever your reasoning might be. I really encourage you to try not to think like that, because I thought like that for like 10 years, and it actually like inhibited my growth from this. And I did make a lot of progress in those 10 years. At one point in my life, I was probably using multiple times a day, at least, like every single day. And now, don't get me wrong, I haven't been perfect or anything like in the past year, but it's certainly a lot less than it was at that time. So, and I probably would have made even more progress had I realized that earlier about getting help from people. But anyway, that's it for today. Hope this helps some of you guys out there, and have a good start to the week.